How is it that we put systems in place to automate reviews? How are we going to start automating referrals? How are we going to start automating follow-ups? Now, this is so important. And the reason it's important is because most business owners, they literally have thousands of people that have reached out to their company and they just have the data. They don't understand how valuable this data is. And the crazy thing is, they understand how important it is to get the data. But most of us have this one close mentality, meaning whenever a customer calls your business, most people think that, hey, if they don't move on with our service, if they don't purchase, oh well, they'll reach back out to us when they're ready. And the truth of the matter is that regardless of how you got that lead, you likely paid for it. There was some type of investment that was had in order for you to acquire that lead, be it time investment, you knocking on somebody's door, or paid ads. So my question is, what are you doing to follow up with people that have shown interest in your business? And I'm sure I'm not the only person that has heard this, but everybody knows that the fortune is in the follow-up. Everybody knows that the fortune is in the follow-up. So my question is, what is your follow-up process like? What is your follow-up process like? And is it consistent? Is it consistent? Now, again, I'm going to go ahead and start with the system that I've put in place for reviews, because I really love this. And if you happen to know a local business owner, or if you happen to know a local business owner that could benefit from putting these systems into their company, hit me up and I'll make sure to give you a little kickback for the referral. So that's an opportunity for you to start earning a little bit of money. Now, you're not just going to get paid a $50, $25, $100 bonus, $250 bonus. You literally are going to get paid every month. If you know somebody that could benefit from these systems that I'm going to show you guys. Now, you do business with your local pizza guy. You do business with your local med spa. You do business with your barber. You do business with a local roofer. You do business with a local home improvement company. You do business with your dentist. And I could guarantee that most of these people, business owners, will benefit from these systems. Now, the first one is the first workflow that we have set in place is for the reviews. Now, I'm going to quick break down what's actually happening here. Now, I know it looks a little complex, but it's just a system that's put in place, and it's happening with or without me, which is good. Now, whenever a status is changed, whenever a customer is dispositioned correctly inside of a CRM, which most business owners don't have, by the way, it then triggers this phase. It waits 10 minutes and it adds them to a workflow. And the workflow that it adds them to is the official nonstop reviews. There's over 239 people that have gone through this sequence. Now, what's happening? So again, the sales rep changes the status on an external CRM and it communicates it to an internal CRM that I have. And you guys could have access to this as well. And it then sends them a message asking for the customer to leave a 5-star review. Hey, would you be open to, would it be okay if I asked you to take a moment to leave us a 5-star review? It'll take less than 30 seconds and seriously has a huge impact for us. Link. That link right there is called a trigger link. The reason that's there is because if they happen to click on this link, we don't want to keep sending them a message. So what we do is we create a trigger link, and this trigger link is designed to let us know if they clicked on it, we want them removed from said workflow. But if they didn't click on the link, what we're going to do is send them another message in 5 days asking for them to leave us that review. And then we're going to go ahead and remove them from the workflow. Now, the next thing that I want to go ahead and show you guys is what happens 14 days after that. So 14 days after that, they're going to be added to a secondary workflow. And in that workflow, what we're doing is we're simply asking if they happen to know somebody that needs a roof. We have an incentive program. Do you happen to know somebody that needs a roof? And I'm going to open up what that looks like. There's been over 419 contacts that have gone through this workflow. And there's still some that are in the process, in the next 14 days, 103 are going to go to the second phase, and so on. So what is his messaging like? So this is in the form of an email. I'm not going to get into that, but the point is that giving them the opportunity to earn some bonus cash, right? Whatever this may be, you can be creative, right? This is an open canvas, meaning if you own a barber shop, if you own a dental practice, if you own a law firm, having these systems in place whenever somebody has already done business is vital. Everybody knows that the most expensive lead is typically through advertisement. But the cheapest lead is through referral. If somebody recommends your company to somebody else, your cost of acquisition is zero. You paid nothing in order to acquire that good lead. And I'll ask you, how many people are you asking to refer you to somebody else? So what we've done is we put a system in place so that 14 days after that, they're going to be funneled through a secondary funnel, a secondary workflow, and this one is going to send the messages via email asking if they happen to know somebody that needs a new roof. We also have incentives, so first referral $250, $500, $750, $1,000, and there's no limit to the amount of money that you could make. Now, do I recommend this be the only way of getting business? Absolutely not. Every business owner knows that you're going to have to hunt every single day. You're going to have to cold call. You're going to have to knock on doors. You're going to have to connect in the marketplace, shake hands every single day. And that's the actual income generator. This is not designed to replace what you have to do on a day-to-day basis. It's designed to enhance, to put a system in place for the people that have slipped through the cracks. So this is a way for us to continue communicating with them. And then again, 60 days after that, so we have a 30, a 60, and I'm going to go ahead and put another message 90 days after that, just to continue staying top of mind and sending messages to people that we've done business with. Moving on. The next system that I'd like to actually break down is what happens when somebody dispositions a call as a bad lead or as a stalled lead. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is because I had mentioned this earlier. Leads are not cheap. And if you're not doing everything within your power to close that deal, then you're leaving money on the table. Now, this is for bad leads. And the second one, I'm going to scroll down, is for stalled. What? Stalled deals, which I think is in the other workflow. Let me go back. Stalled deals. So stalled deals is a status that is within an external CRM. So now whenever somebody is labeled as a stalled deal, we're going to wait 45 days and we're going to send them into a workflow. What is this workflow? This is what we call the DBR, Database Reactivation Campaign. And I'm going to go ahead and break down what's actually happening here so that you guys can have that visual. But just imagine sending out a text message to everybody that has sent you a message versus in all of the social platforms. Imagine sending a text message to everybody that has called your business over the course of the last 3, 4, 5 years. Now you get a chance to send them a text message just to touch base. And this is what's happening. So again, breaking this down, we have the stalled leads. So whenever a lead is dispositioned correctly as a stalled deal, we're going to wait 45 days and we're going to add them to this workflow. In this workflow, rather than sending out a ton of messages at once, we have what's called a drip mode. And what this is there's only 25 contacts that can go inside of this workflow per day. And then only one text message could be sent out every 15 minutes. It's going to go ahead and update the opportunity. We're going to go ahead and tag that as an active in the DBR. And then we're going to send them that text message. In that text message, we simply ask, hey, just checking back in. It's been about a year since we last looked at your roof, and we're offering complimentary checkups if you'd like us to take another look. Now, if they do not reply, what we're going to do is send them another text message in 2 days. And the secondary text message is simple. It's, hey, just following up. We're scheduling yearly roof inspections for properties we've already been out to. Reply yes, and we'll get it set up. If they don't reply, we're going to go ahead and send them another text message in 22 hours saying, hey, we're wrapping up this week's roof inspections. If you'd like us to stop by, reply yes. If they happen to actually reply, then it's going to take them down this workflow. It's going to turn on AI, and AI is going to take over that conversation with the end objective to get them on the calendar. If they say no, not interested, then it's going to turn the AI bot off. And if the conditions are not met, meaning if they end up asking a random question left field, they're like, hey, what school did you go to? Well, that's not a positive or a negative intent. AI is going to go ahead and turn on and find out where they are in the process. And obviously, if it's not relevant, then it's going to go ahead and add them to the proper phase in the pipeline, which I'll go into in the next phase. But before I do, I want to go ahead and break down some scenarios in which this makes sense. Okay? Some scenarios in which this makes sense. Why would you need this? Again, as I mentioned earlier, business owners constantly have people giving them a call every single day, asking questions. If somebody took the time to call your business, clearly they are showing interest in your product, your service. And if you have a phone number, you have what people are paying thousands of dollars, literally paying thousands of dollars every single month in order to get when they run paid advertisement. So if you have the data already, what are you doing with it? As a business owner, you got to ask yourself, how many times are you following up with old or cold data? It's everything. Because as I said earlier, and most of you already know this, the fortune is in the follow-up. So if you're not doing what you need to do to follow up with old or cold leads, you're leaving some money on the table. Now, the next thing that I'm going to show is opportunities in pipeline. And this is where everything is organized. So whenever a lead comes in, whenever it's labeled a bad lead, whenever they're in the inspection phase, if from inspection they move on to claim filed, and there's more, I'm not going to go into these right now. But the point is that whenever they get to job complete or stall deals, all that is going to be labeled here. And based on where it's labeled, we have workflows in the back end that are putting in work. But we need to disposition these calls properly, guys. If we don't know that an inspection, if we don't know that somebody in inspection didn't follow through with the process, how could we follow up with them? How? All right? So with that being said, I am going to keep this fairly short, guys. Keep growing, keep developing. Remember, this is nonstop. And before I get off, I just want to give a shout out to the universe. I call him Coach. I want to say thank you to my mother. I want to say thank you to my father. I want to say thank you to my son's mother. I want to say thank you to my son. I want to say thank you to my friends. I want to say thank you to a couple people come to mind immediately. Ariel Blanco and Jay. We call him Jay. And I also want to give a shout out to Cody and Rico. And these are people that have made a difference in my life. And there's so many more. But for now, these are the people that are top of mind that I'm extremely grateful for. Now, where do we go from here? We talked a lot. We talked a lot about systems. We talked a lot about complex frameworks, systems that we could start implementing either for our own business or a local business. Where do we leave off? Where do we go from here? Remember where you are in the process. This may not be for you. You may be at home scrolling or on the internet just searching for a new opportunity. This may not be for you. Building out these systems, helping local business owners may not be for you. But now you're aware of an opportunity that exists and there's a massive demand out there for it. The only thing that separates you from the opportunity is the skill set and how to implement these systems. Now, again, it looks complex, but again, just realize that you were ignorant and now you are aware of systems that exist. And now your job is to decide if you want to move on to competency and keep learning this stuff, or if you want to just move on. And both are okay. And then from there, if you decide, move on to proficiency. So how do you start learning more of this? Well, the truth is that if you're interested in learning any of this, if you want to start learning how I put these systems together, go ahead and check the comment section. And if it's not there, just make sure to comment the word school. And I'll do two things. I'll make sure to get you access. I'll get you a 14-day free trial so that you could start using the software that I literally help local business owners with. Without this software, I would not be where I'm at. I would not be doing what I'm doing. And the reason I'm talking about the software is because it makes things so simple. I don't have a tech background, but I provide more value than the average person that is out there saying, oh, I have a tech back. Man, get the fuck out of here. These systems are important. You don't need to have a development background in order to actually provide value to a business owner. These are boots on the ground action steps, systems that you could put in place for somebody in your local market, and very cost effective. There's a lot of people out there that try to overcharge for services that don't really require the amount of work that they're charging for. So I like to price things out fairly. And you could too. You could start earning an extra $300, $400, $500 a month by putting these systems in place that once you actually put it together, there's not much you got to do. And that's life. Now, in the next video, not today, the next video, what I'm going to be talking about is some automations that I put in place for email. So if you guys want to start learning the system that I use to be able to stay connected with people that show interest in us, doing some outbound emailing, make sure to follow along and keep growing and appreciate life. Because in life, if you don't keep pushing, nobody's going to do it for you. In fact, before I get off, I'm going to get some push-ups in. Great day to be alive. Keep pushing, guys. Oh, comment the word school if you want to join my school community in there. I start sharing my screen and I will show you anything you need. I'll start helping you from a personal perspective if you have an account or if you have a client that you want to implement some of these systems in. Also, for those of you that don't have access to the software, either you can join my school community or just comment the word software and I'll go ahead and include the link so that you can get a 14-day free trial. Not only that, I'll start sending you a ton of free gifts, just a ton of systems that you could already have them in your software so that you don't have to build them from scratch. Keep growing, keep developing, nonstop.